Christopher Ward, Christopher Ward, Christopher Ward. A brand that I've heard a lot about quite recently. This is the Christopher Ward 12, and this is 3 things that I love, and also 3 things that I hate. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always. And Christopher Ward's a great brand, a great British brand, and great British and brand are things that you seldom hear together in the watch industry, our weird watch industry. I mean, normally it's a great Swiss brand or great German brand, and I love seeing British brands kind of breaking the mold a wee bit and coming through to the mainstream media a little bit more. Now, Christopher Ward did reach out to me about 2 months ago now, and they said, listen, we love your YouTube channel, we love your content, can we send you a watch? And I said, yeah. Can I have the 12 Glacier dial? And they said yes. By the way, their marketing team is fantastic. This video is in no ways sponsored by them. However, they did send me this watch for free. And I delayed making this video because I wanted to have an accurate representation of what I do love and hate about this watch. And this is the video. So beginning with the pros of this watch, let's start positively. Let's start like we normally do because this is a great British brand. The specs are absolutely to die for. This watch, out of all of my watches, wears, I wouldn't say the best. It's almost there though, and it honestly wears unbelievably well for the money. The case diameter comes in at 40 millimeters on this watch. The thickness comes in at 9.95 and the lug to lug comes in at 44.5 mil. I do believe that maybe they focused so much on the design, so much on the specs, that they perhaps didn't consider the comfortability aspect as much. But we'll get onto that at the end when we cover the con. Another pro to this watch is the integrated bracelet. Personally, I am a fan of butterfly clasps. I think it wears pretty damn wonderfully, pretty damn nicely. And honestly, the build structure and quality of their bracelet comparison to, let's say, a Tissot PRX is second to none. Honestly, they've knocked it out of the park. With that said, you do need to pay a lot more money than Tissot PRX, so you kind of expect it to be better, but I didn't expect the build quality to be this good at that price. Next up, another pro is the design of this watch, the detail and design of this watch. Let's take the bezel for an example. You can see it's angular, you can see it's sloped, you can see they've put a lot of consideration into where they've used polished metal and also used brushed metal. The bracelet looks absolutely brilliant. It is 70s inspired, it is almost Genta designed. That's where they've taken inspiration. And also, a little thing in the bracelet is when you angle the bracelet, the majority is brushed, but the hidden links that slot under the next link in the bracelet, they are actually in polished. A really, really cool feature. And on that note, it is time for the wrist check. What's on your wrist today? Please let me know in the comments. I love seeing all the weird and wonderful watches that you guys have on. Honestly, we've been building this watch community now for like 2 years, and the watches keep getting weirder and cooler, and it's just awesome. I currently, well, given the video, I currently have the Christopher Ward 12 on, the Glacier Blue. This is my watch. I said at the start of the video, I think. Anyway, I do love it. I do wear it a lot. I'll probably get onto the cons next, but I do wear this watch a lot. I do love the brand. Cool watch. And that, guys, brings me on to the cons, of which there are a couple that I have identified. Now, this is in no ways a bad watch, and this is just my opinion, but that's what this channel is about. It's about documenting my watch journey and hopefully helping you with yours. So obviously, the dial has a ton of depth to it. It's pretty fantastic, actually. However, the depth on the dial and the pattern on the dial is essentially the Christopher Ward logo stamped lots and lots and lots of times. And I'm not really keen on that. I mean, listen, I get it. I get that the brand's Christopher Ward. If you were to buy a Christopher Ward watch, you know what you're buying. So why stamp the logo hundreds and thousands of times on the dial? I would have rather they used something a little bit more generic. I mean, I love the way Omega have done it. Let's take them for an example. They've used waves on the dial instead of repeating the Omega logo hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I get that it's a Christopher Ward. I get that it's good. However, I don't need that reinforcement. I don't want to be too flash with my watch. I want people that are in the industry to recognize that it's Christopher Ward without showing off. And the dial, to me, stamping that logo hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times feels a little bit show-offy. Just to cap that, because I understand that it sounded like a bit of a bit of a stab. It wasn't a stab. I feel that Christopher Ward's quality is good enough as it is. Why would you want to brand something hundreds and hundreds of times? Just let the quality speak for itself. The next con, in my eyes, is the fact that they've got Christopher Ward on the bottom of the butterfly clasp. It's not the fact that they've used Christopher Ward as in the actual name, but I would rather the logo on the butterfly clasp. That's a me thing though, that doesn't need to be a you thing. That is just personal preference, I need to say that. But what isn't personal preference is the sharpness of the bracelet. Now, I think that they've focused so much on making this watch absolutely unbelievably sexy that they've maybe missed the comfortability aspect a little. When I put this watch on, especially around the butterfly clasp, I can feel the edges. I can feel it digging in a little bit. I can feel it just a little bit painful. And that kind of brings me on to the fact that it's maybe not as comfortable as it should be. I think they've made it so angular that it kind of loses its comfortability aspect. And I think that they could quite easily upgrade this, especially on the bracelet. So it's something to consider for Christopher Ward. Honestly, the watch is really sexy, but it does dig into your wrists. You know, I would love to sell Christopher Ward in terms of stock them at Chisholm Hunter because we don't stock them at the moment and they keep bringing out pretty cool models. I mean, they brought out the titanium version of the 12. That looks really cool. I really want to get that on the wrist. And then they also brought out the 36mm 12, which is also really cool. But although Chisholm Hunter don't stock Christopher Ward, we do stock Tudor, Omega, Longines, tons of other brands. So head to chisholmhunter.co.uk if you want to get your next watch brand or watch at the moment. The next con is that there is a little issue with the bracelet when it comes to the screws. The screws keep unscrewing on the bracelet for me. Now, I literally work at Chisholm Hunter. I have toolkits when I'm in the office, and I've screwed this bracelet up several times. And for some reasons, the screws just keep coming out, and it is a bit of a pain in the arse. I'm not going to lie. Now, I don't really know why this is happening. I don't know if the glue that they've used on the screws isn't strong enough, or I don't know, but it is happening and it does upset me. That is something that I would expect them to sort at £1,050. Finally, there's a couple of things in the dial. I mean, the date window or the date wheel is the same color as the dial on the Glacier Blue version. I would like that to be slightly different. And then also the hour markers are actually really damn attractive. I really like them. And listen, I believe that all watches deserve their time in the limelight because I think that everyone has personal preference of what they like and what they don't, and that's fine. Everyone has different tastes. I am by no means bashing Christopher Ward's here. I love that brand. I love seeing a British brand grow and thrive in the watch community. And also their marketing team are unbelievable to deal with, just personally. I really like this watch. I wear this watch a hell of a lot. However, there's a couple of niggles. The comfortability aspect being the biggest one that I think they should iron out. On that positive note, thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you have enjoyed. We're about to film a podcast, the Into the Mind podcast with myself. It has nothing to do with watches, a lot to do with diving into the mind of interesting people. And we've had Adrian Barker on the show. We've had a ton of different people. We're trying to get Nico on the show. So if you guys can help me give him a nudge, it'd be appreciated. See you soon.